Next on the podium, Indiana head coach Kevin Wilson, as the Hoosiers look to take that next step. They've been awfully close over the last couple of years, getting to the postseason, close to winning some bowl games. Will this be the year, despite a big-time change at quarterback for Kevin Wilson's offense? Let's head back to McCormick Place and listen in to the head Hoosier.
Everybody awake? We good to go? Like a lot of us, again, our thoughts with not just the Nebraska and the Michigan State football families, but I had a chance at the National Football Foundation to actually sit with Mike Sadler's parents a couple years ago. We had a player up for that deal. So as a dad and 2 kids in college and several kids in high school, just feel for their families. And as a program, we send our prayers to those guys. Good to be here. I think we're continuing to grow as a program. We appreciate the opportunity that the administration has committed to us to continue to advance our program. We've got a lot of things going on, from facilities to stabilizing of our staff to recruiting and whatnot. So we are encouraged where we're at. We're not pleased where we're at. We've been very competitive but a little bit inconsistent the last few years and let a few games slip away that we've been in. But we played some very good football in what I think's a tremendous brand in college football, a great bracket in the Big Ten East, just a great bracket in Big Ten because the West is awfully strong as well. So excited about where we position ourselves in our league. Everybody talks about how challenging it is, but we embrace that challenge, embrace that opportunity. That's how we've been able to attract, I think, not only good coaches, but some more talented players. I think it's why we're playing good football. So I think, like all of us will say, I've been very encouraged. We have a lot of guys back. We're a young team. We will miss a couple good players. Several guys were drafted, and our quarterback, Nate Sudfeld, and Jason Spriggs, Jordan Howard, a quality running back right here playing for the Bears. So we had several guys drafted and moved on, but we got a good core of guys back. We got we have 4 fifth-year seniors in our offensive line. That's a very, very good group, led by one of the best players in the conference, led by one of the best coaches in the conference, in Greg Fry. But Dan Feeney's an awesome, awesome football player, and with Demetri Camille, who's up here with us, he's, I think, one of the best right tackles in our league, and Jacob Bailey, Wes Rogers were pretty solid in the offensive front, a lot of experience. We've got several receivers back. A year ago, we stood up here, and we had this quarterback, and our leading returning receiver had 18 catches. And he blew out a knee that I think we announced at this thing last year, so our leading returning receiver had 8 catches, and he didn't even play last year. Well, we found a guy that could catch 60, another guy with 57, another guy with 50, or 54, I think it is. I think we have 3 of the top 14 receivers in the Big Ten are coming back, so we've got some good players there. In Simi Cobbs, Ricky Jones, Mitchell Page, Jay-Sean Harris that was injured last year is back healthy. Nick Westbrook, a talented freshman from a year ago, is in the mix. So we will be 5, 6, 7 deep. We recruited several good players. So our front's awfully experienced and pretty good. Our perimeter, I think, is awfully experienced and pretty good. We're fortunate to have Divine Redding back at running back. Jordan Howard is a quality back. I think it was 3 years ago we stood up here and we had not had a 1,000-yard running back in Indiana in 20 years. And Tevin Coleman was rolling pretty good, about 950, and he got an ankle sprain in the Illinois game and missed the last 3 games that year, so didn't catch it. But the following year had 2,000. Last year, Jordan Howard had 1,200, and Divine Redding had 1,000. Jordan came out early for the draft, so we got Divine back. We were one of, I think it was the 4th time in college football history last year we had a 3,500-yard quarterback, 2 running backs go over 1,000 yards, 3,500 passing, 2 running backs over 1,000, and a 1,000-yard receiver. So got some skill guys back, and not besides Divine. Mike Majette will be in the mix. Devontae Williams, we've got about 8 now. Got several freshmen coming in. So Deland McCullough, our running back coach, is doing an awesome, awesome job of developing those guys. So I think we'll be balanced. I think the critical positions, outside of that maturity, though, I think last year our tight end play I thought was very, very solid for us, and we lose Michael Cooper and Anthony Cassaro, some seniors. So in this day and age of spread football, if you got a tight end, you can do some things. If you don't, you're either throwing it too much or you're running the quarterback an awful lot. So I think that tight end position, last year we actually played Brandon Knight, an offensive lineman, played tight end for us to give us the presence that you need. Everybody says, your line's not blocking if you can't run the ball. I think that tight end, he's always at the point of attack on front side schemes and then backside in the cutoff game. So James Patton will do a great job with those guys. And then quarterback. We'll see as we go through. We brought in Richard Lago, a junior college player. He's had 15 practices. We don't think that's enough to merit being a starter yet. I think he's had a solid summer. Xander Diamant's our most experienced player who's made some plays. And Smaller guy, a little bit of a run-around guy, but has a good arm, very competitive guy, a lot of moxie and spirit about him. He's had his best summer. We got a couple of players, Danny Cameron, Austin King. I really like our freshman quarterback, although I'm not excited about freshmen playing in our league, although we've done that a few times. But we'll see how it goes moving forward. We don't want to drag it out. I will say this, in our last 3 years, we've played 3 quarterbacks. So we don't need a starting quarterback. We need more than one. In this day and age, those guys are going to get hit. We were fortunate last year. We had the fewest sacks in the conference. We had the most plays. We had the fewest sacks. We had the fewest turnovers. So hopefully we'll be able to take care of that quarterback. But we'll let it play out. We're not going to drag it out, and we'll see as it moves forward. We'll play 1, play 2. We'll just let it go. Defensively, we've made a change last year. We've not played strong defense since we've been there. Got a lot of players back. We have everyone back at linebacker, everyone back in the secondary. We had no seniors there last year. We do have a few losses up front that we'll need to overcome, and I think we've got some talent and depth there. But I'm expecting and been encouraged by what I've seen by Tom Allen, who comes in from South Florida as an Indiana native. That didn't excite me as much as his passion and pedigree and his ability to connect with staff and players. Spent a few years with Hugh Freeze at several places, but was at Ole Miss. So I've been very encouraged with what I've seen, the standard he's setting. It's not scheme and X's and O's, and we can talk about that. We're blue in the face. Our X's and O's aren't as good on offense as our standard and the culture we've been able to create. We've not been able to do that defensively, and I'm very excited to see what Tom can do and encourage there. So a lot of players back defensively. Ralph Green up front, Nate Hoff up front, Jacob Robinson I think will be solid players. Greg Gooch, Niall Sykes coming off the edge. I think our 2 linebackers, Marcus Oliver, T. Gray Scales, T.J. Simmons. I think we'll have some depth and good players there. And our back end does need to step up. Jonathan Crawford, I think, is an awesome safety, one of the best freshmen in the conference last year. And we got a good kicking game back. I think we got one of the best kickers in the Big Ten, Griffin Oaks. I think it was 24 or 29 last year. He's just going to be a junior. I think he's an outstanding kicker. I think our punt snapper, Danny Gotzel, is one of the best in the game. We've got to find a punter. We've got a leg, but it's unproven. We'll see how that goes. And our return unit, Mitchell Page, was pretty dynamic back there. This is by far the deepest our team's been. So we got some depth, we got some experience, we've got some excitement, and I think we've got a chance to be a solid football team. We start with 3 non-conference games, and I will say this: Florida International last year, we have a pick 6 in the last 2 minutes to secure that game. In Florida International, that's our opening game. Second game, we play Ball State, and they've beat us the last 3 times we played them. 2 times against the teams that I've coached. So another strong chest. And our third non-conference games against Wake Forest, who last year threw the last play in the end zone trying to tie it up. So our first 3 games match up where we're going to have to play well. We need to come out of the gate fast. It's going to be some teams that are going to be road game to Florida International and some opponents that we've had some tough contests and haven't won. And then the league sets up with 5 home games and love our conference slate. And again, ready to roll. Got a good football team. I think we're going to play very, very well this year. We're going to be very exciting on O, and we're going to be pretty energetic on defense. You guys make sure you keep the TV turned on because it's going to be a lot of fun watching the Hoosiers play. Questions?
All right, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We're going to start right here on our right.
Coach Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle. You announced the invasion campaign with camps around Indianapolis, in Florida, and in the Chicagoland area. How does that impact your program, and what's the main goal you want to get out of that in terms of marketing your program and taking a look at local kids and kids around the country?
I'll say our recruiting right now, we've always been, I felt, to get the players we needed to compete in our bracket and our schedule, that I wasn't really fired up by a lot of the early commitments. We've went a lot slower than a lot of other guys. We've taken our time. We've tried to earn respect and trust and loyalty. So I think the one thing that's helped our recruiting the most has been the contract extension. Because a year ago, I don't know if we were getting that. And I think a lot of kids like, hey, what's going to be the offense? Who's going to be your coach? I think right now, with the 6-year extension, I think you got a lot of guys buying the fact that we got a chance to be successful. Our administration's committed to us. And we've always tried to recruit our state hard. And I listened last year to several coaches, and we talked about how these camps are about making the game better. We want to do these camps to make the game better. And we want to give coaches a chance. You know, we almost didn't do them because guys were going all over the country. So I thought, like, a great deal. We're doing 5 camps in our state for free. We're not giving them T-shirts. We're not giving them meals. We're not giving them anything. But I want to reach back to my state, my coaches, my guys, my state. So we had one in Fort Wayne the other day. We'll have 4 camps on Wednesday. It's almost like a spring recruiting day. I see Coach Donardo sitting back there. So it's like an old spring recruiting day. Instead of going to the school, we're going to show up at 9 o'clock and have a lineman camp at one school. 11:15, we'll be at another school with the skill camp. Take a break, and at 5 o'clock, come back with another lineman camp on the other side of town, and then a skill camp at 7 o'clock that night. I thought it would be a great way. All these guys are talking about helping the game, but they're flying around in private jets. Their LLC is not paying for the traveling expenses coming out of recruiting or discretionary budget. So I say, hey, if we want to make the game better, and that's the gist of why, as coaches, we want these satellite caps, I want to make a commitment to my state. We'll see if it goes. I hope we have a phenomenal turnout. We got a bunch of coaches from a lot of small schools around our state, and some of the MAC schools coming to help us. So I'm excited to see how it goes. I think it's going to be a heck of an adventure. We'll see how it goes.
Coach, middle of the back of the room on our left.
Hey, Coach. Dalton Shetler of the Regional Radio Sports Network in South Bend. You alluded to, in your opening statement, letting some games slip away in a few of the past seasons. Some of those games last year, Iowa, Michigan in overtime, and in the bowl game, Duke. So the question is, what is your program doing to prepare for some of those tight-knitted ball games this upcoming season?
Great question, and I don't think that those are games that we've, quote, blown. You know, we had the fewest turnovers in the conference. We had fewest sacks in the conference, so I don't think we're giving games away. But I think it's the difference between confidence and belief. You know, everyone has confidence. Not necessarily it's always positive confidence. Everybody says you have leaders. Yeah, we have leaders. Are they good leaders or bad leaders? Strong or weak leaders? So our deal is a little bit more in belief. I think the way we've played, again, what came first, the chicken or the egg? The more you win, the more you believe. The more you believe, the more you win. So right now we're in a deal where it's not moral victories or backhanded compliments, but I think our team realizes that when we play and play hard and play well and play as a team, we can match up and have a shot. And bottom line, we'll keep fighting and scratching. And it's not more conditioning, and it's not air. It's just the ability to make a stop. It's the ability to make one more score to win a one-possession football game. And we're going to work hard to do it this year.
Coach, next question is back of the room under the lights on our right.
Hey, Kevin. Teddy Greenstein. How you doing?
Awesome.
Jordan Howard going to the Bears. What kind of player are Chicago fans going to see there?
Very, very physical. Great kid. You know, we were lucky. You know, I think he was very, very torn when UAB dropped their program. Took it very emotional. He's a Birmingham kid. He had a great relationship with our running back coach, Deland McCullum. I think Jordan's a guy. He's a big body. He plays very physical. I think he needs to continue to get his body hard, and because he's a pounding player to take the pounding of the position. But great kid. It was kind of encouraging him to come back to get stronger, kind of encourage him, you need to go how long does your body last at running back. So, but I appreciate him being with us for 1 year and encouraged him to realize, although they dropped football at UAB and only had 1 year with us, to realize you're a Hoosier for life and continue to use our school and our people to help him for life. I think he'll be a tremendous pro.
Coach, next is on our right, all the way over here.
Coach Terry Hudson, CNHI Newspapers. You mentioned Coach Allen, your third DC in 6 years. What has to change on that side of the ball?
Well, and not pointing fingers, but in the staffing of our game, most people have 5 offensive coaches. You have a tight end coach, a line coach, a running back coach, a quarterback coach, and a receiver coach. When I was at Oklahoma, Coach Stoops being a defensive-oriented guy, there were 5 guys in one room, 5 in the offense. When I was at Northwestern with Randy, or Miami of Ohio, there was 6 in one room offense because Randy was an offensive guy. So what I did is I brought 5 guys in on defense and said, I'll help Coach Johns coach the quarterbacks and call plays and game plan, and he'll coach receivers and quarterbacks, and we'll put a J and do it as a group. That being said, in a practice format, it just gets me a little bit more on the offensive field. And we've created a standard on one side of the ball that we've never created on the other. It's not Tampa 2, it's not zone blitz, it's not man free, it's not zero pressure, it's not 4-man, it's not 3-man. It's a standard of playing hard. It's a standard of holding each other accountable and loving each other and pulling for each other and playing together. And we've got one side of the ball that's hit out of the park pretty good. I think Coach Allen, when I visit with Coach Allen, I met with him for 3 hours and talked about how do you get your staff to buy in? How do you get people to believe in you? How do you get kids to play hard? How do you get them, how do you correct mistakes? And we're going for 3 hours. And then I said, hey, what kind of defense do you run? I had no clue. He runs a 4-2-5. That's great because I think that's one of the better pack. But all the 4-2-5 is you take a Palms line back from inside and you put him outside and spin this. It's 6 of one, half dozen the other. So to me, it was all about creating a culture because although I think we've had great coaches, I don't think that's connected yet. And that's been his charge, and I've been very, very pleased with what I've seen. It'll be interesting when the bullets start hitting, when they start flying and things start hitting the fan as we get into games in the season. But been very encouraged with his leadership and the positive nature and the standard he's setting for our defensive players. And we're going to have to recreate and set that standard for the offense and our team as well.
All right, thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.